What if I told you it is possible for you to invest in art from the likes of Banksy, Warhol, or Picasso without having hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank? Well, thanks to Masterworks.io, you can now own an investment in a piece of art history and get a piece of the upside if that art increases in value. Looking at public data on art transactions, you can see that contemporary art prices outpace the S&P 500 total return by 174% from 1995 to 2020. But investing in this type of art was often available only to the ultra-rich. Not anymore. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, hey everyone and welcome to FinTech. In this video, I'm going to be going over Masterworks.io, showing you how it works, walking through the actual platform, and looking at different ways that you can make money by investing in art. This video was sponsored by Masterworks, so I will not be offering my own opinion of the platform. And as always, I am not a financial advisor and I can't give my own opinion on whether or not you should invest, but I will be able to give you a behind-the-scenes look at this new kind of investing platform. With that said, let's start with a brief overview of how the process actually works. Masterworks reviews thousands of pieces of art and passes them through a due diligence process. If that art passes review, they offer a fixed number of shares representing investment in that piece, with each share issued at $20. After a certain period, targeted at 3 to 10 years, Masterworks will then sell the art to a new buyer, take their cut of the profits, and distribute the net proceeds to the investors. But what if you don't want to keep your money locked up in a piece of art for what could potentially last a decade? Can you exit your position early? Well, yes, Masterworks offers a secondary market for posting buy and sell orders. The price you pay here might be higher or lower than the initial price of buying a share during an offering, but it provides an avenue for more liquidity and diversifying which assets you keep in your portfolio. So you can make money in two ways, either when they sell one of your pieces to a new buyer or by you selling to another member in the secondary market. Similarly, Masterworks makes money and covers their costs in two ways as well. Masterworks holds the art investments that they provide, insures them, and in some cases even displays them in a members-only gallery in New York City. These costs are all included in the annual 1.5% management fee and the 20% of profit that they take at the point of sale. So now that you have some background on how Masterworks actually works, let's log into the platform and take a look at the tools available for investors. So when you first log into Masterworks.io, you're going to be brought to this offerings page here. Now during this video, I'm going to go through all the different tabs here. So we're going to start with this offerings page, move on to the price database, trading, my portfolio, and then some other options on the site as well. So on this offerings tab, we can see current offerings that are going to be offered by Masterworks.io. So you have one here from Monet, and you have all these other artists as well. On the left side here, we can see the investment thesis for this particular piece of art. This is going to give you some history on the painter, maybe talk about this painting in particular. It might talk about previous sales for this painting. It basically just gives you a little bit of education on the background for this particular artwork before you invest in it. This gives more of a high-level overview of this particular piece of art, and if you want more detail, you're going to want to dive into the offering circular for that particular piece of art. But if you want to go one level deeper into detail on this artist, you can also go to the deal sheet here. This is going to download a PDF, which is going to give you even more details on this particular artist as well as this particular painting, giving you some stats on the price appreciation, the appraised value, and this chart here for historical performance of other similar pieces of art. This offers a level more detail than you would just get by looking at the investment thesis. Now, if we exit back out of here and zoom in a little bit more, we can also see this chart of similar sales to this particular piece of art. If I click on that, it brings up all these different sales of data that Masterworks considered similar to this particular investment. You can see here that these go across a range of time, so this early one's from 2008, and then they have them all the way up through May of 2021. And then at the bottom here, they also talk about why these particular paintings are similar and why they categorize them here for similar sales. This can give you some good information both for what other art is out there that's similar to this particular piece and give you some comparables for what similar art might have sold for in the past. Also on this page, if we zoom in here to the investment overview, we can view the actual offer circular, which is hosted with the SEC for this particular investment, as well as some other information for their 2020 auction sales, as well as any repeat sales that they've had on this particular item. You can also see how many different shares are available in this particular piece of art. So for this one, for example, only 5% of the shares have currently been bought, so there's still an opportunity to buy more shares in this. Also on some of these, they also talk about recent auction history. So if I scroll down a little bit, we can see for this particular item here, they rate the auction history as significant with 37 years of auction history. Some other pieces pieces on here might have that rated as low or as moderate. So let's say that I looked at this particular piece of art by Lucio Fontana. Let's say I already read through the offer circular summary and I wanted to invest in this particular piece of art. Well, I would just click Invest Now here. This will then pull up a page where I can actually invest into this particular piece of art. And you can see here that this initial offering is going to be valued for $1.7 million. They talk about price appreciation for similar works. They talk about how much of this is sold out. And right here, I can put in how much I want to invest. Now, I told you that each individual share only costs $20, but there are going to be minimums that you have to meet in order to actually invest. So for example, on this piece, if I type in $20, I get this warning here that says the minimum order is $500 for this particular piece of art. So in order to invest, I need to put in at least that amount of money. But let's say I'm not yet confident enough to invest $500 in this piece of art just based on what I've read so far. Well, Masterworks also provides tools to research the art market, specifically their price database. So in here, you can actually search for a specific artist and see what kind of data exists on their previous sales. For example, we have a particular painting here. This was originally purchased at $20,900, later sold at $110 million. So over 33 years, it appreciated 5.2 thousand times. In here, you can also find published research from other companies such as Citi and Deloitte, which will give you even more insight into the overall art market if you want to read through these PDFs. But let's just search for an artist here. Let's say that we search for Andy Warhol. This will bring up a basic summary of who Andy Warhol was as an artist and a bunch of different sales of his art throughout the years. And we can see what the initial purchase price was, what they were sold for, how long they were held between those sales, and what the total return was on those pieces. What's nice here is you can also sort this by different things. So right now I'm sorting by total return, but let's say I wanted to find the cheapest piece being offered by Andy Warhol. I could sort by the cheapest sales price. So we can see right here that this particular picture of Andy Warhol last sold for $4,000, and that's the cheapest sale price listed in this database. So aside from purchasing artwork directly from Masterworks, you can also buy and sell shares in artwork on their secondary market, which we can get to by clicking the trading tab here. Now, when I first looked at this tab, I was genuinely surprised by just how many options there are here. You can see on the left side any sell orders that are currently available, and the right side, any buy orders. And if you just scroll to the bottom here and start clicking through all these pages, there's a seemingly endless number of different options that I could pick from to buy or sell different shares in art. In fact, there were so many different options here that it kind of made me curious about how many users there actually were on Masterworks. So I decided to look it up, and it turns out that in December 2020, there were 36,000 investors on the platform then, but they were also adding around 10,000 new investors per month. And while there are a lot of offerings on this website, Deloitte reports that the estimated global wealth held in art is over $1.7 trillion. So there is clearly just way more artwork out there to be invested in than I ever realized. But if you're going through this and you want to narrow this down a little bit more, they do also provide filters so that you can narrow down the selection a little more. For example, if I just wanted to look at this particular Andy Warhol, I could look for just the sell or buy orders for that. So if I wanted to buy $420 worth of shares in this painting, this person has a sell order for that right here, and I could complete that transaction if I wanted to. Now, in order to actually make these trades in the secondary market, as you can see here, you have to first have established an account with Evolve Bank. And this is going to be limited only to US investors. So once you do create an account, you can buy and sell trades directly with other members on here. And once one of your transactions completes, it'll be added to the trade history here at the bottom of the page. Now, something I should note here, if we jump over to the settings real quick, you can pay for your investments by linking a bank account, which will let you transfer up to $100,000 per order. Or you can also pay by using a credit card, though you are going to have to pay the processing fee of 3 to 4% to do so. Once you do actually invest in a piece of art, you can track your investments in the My Portfolio tab here, where it's going to show you what the estimated fair value of your account is, as well as what your total cost basis is. So your total cost basis is going to be the amount of money that you actually put into buying art, while the estimated fair value is going to be based on the number of shares you own, and then the estimated appraisal value of those pieces of art based on appraisals that take place twice a year from Masterworks. So this can help give you an estimate for how much your art is worth based on those appraisals. So the last thing we should talk about is how does Masterworks actually select and vet the art that they sell? Well, according to their website, less than 2% of art they evaluate passes their due diligence and selection process to appear on their platform. While artwork can be highly subjective, this may give some investors a little more confidence in what they are investing in. Ultimately, you will need to make your own evaluation on what you want to invest in, but with Masterworks, many now have the option to invest in assets that were previously out of their reach. In the description below, you can find a link to skip their waitlist and view their current offerings. But let me know what you think of Masterworks and investing in these types of alternative assets. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.